daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Newcastle podcast. The international break is firmly underway, and for the first time in a long while, Newcastle fans are actually quite thankful for it. I'm one of them, I'm sure you are too, and I'm joined by two members of the Toon Army who are definitely pleased with the upcoming break because it means it gives them a bit of time to moan and whinge. Jo and Nic. Nick, I'll start with you. How's it going, mate? You well?
Yes, I'm good. Also, my lighting is terrible in this room. I've just realised I've just got this like halo of light above my head. Look great. Sorry about that.
You don't get this professionalism anywhere else, folks.
True.
Sorry for anyone who's watching. I look awful. Yeah.
You look fine.
Like
what about you, Jo? You doing all right?
Oh yeah, you're right though. Bang on about the international break. I've never wanted one more in my life, I'll be honest. But yeah, we'll discuss this in a second.
I thought you meant my lighting. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Canny stuff. Everything's gone to pot, but we're still here, as always, daily after all. So I've got you both here to talk about something, well, pretty much the Newcastle coach and staff are being paid thousands to do. We're going to try and do it for free and figure out what on earth is going wrong at the club right now. Now, this isn't going to be a rant, unless you both want it to be.
Is it?
It can be. It can be organised. But I did this with Ian a few episodes back. That was before what happened at the weekend. So I'll go through a few possible issues, get your takes on them, whether they're bang on or bull. You get the picture. And then at the end, I'll get you both to rank the issues in regards to how big of a problem they've been for us this season. Sound good?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Cracking. Well, that's probably for the best, actually. Otherwise, it would have been a very short episode. No, Michael, I don't want to do that. Right,
No.
That's it. End. 2 minutes 10, a record. But let's get it right. Let's get into it. For each one, we'll have a bit of a chat, throw in some, and then I'll throw in some extra context or stats at the end or whatever.
Cool.
Like I'm known to do. So statement number one, and most of these are stuff that I haven't just put in, but I've seen on people say on X, on whatever as well.
Yeah.
Newcastle United's injuries are the main factor in their poor performances.
No.
Both of you shaking your heads there. Okay. Jo, I'll start with you. Why?
I just don't see this as being one of our biggest injury-prone times, let's say, in the past few years. All right, we've got some. I know we've got Visser out, who has never played for us yet. All right, we've had some players in and out of injury. We've got Hall kind of coming back and all this sort of thing. But in the grand scheme, I think there's a much bigger and deeper rooted issue going on with Newcastle than injuries. That's why.
Yeah. You agree, Nick?
Yeah, I vaguely remember the last time we were in the Champions League, our players were dropping like absolute flies. Whereas this time around, yes, we do have injured players. We've got Tino, obviously that's out probably until maybe the end of this month, beginning of next, I think. Obviously got Lewis on his way back. I have known it to be worse than this. I just don't think it's, I mean, yeah, like Jo just said, Wissa's not even played any minutes for us yet, so we can't blame it on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So no, I don't think that is the main. It probably does factor ever so slightly, but it's definitely not the main cause of what on earth is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be I've put it at number one just because I think it's maybe like a minute contributing factor to some of the other statements that are there. You just mentioned there the big ones, Wissa, Lewis Hall, Tino Livramento. Between them, they've still played 700 minutes this season, which, you know, the most any player could have played is 990 or something like that. So it's not too bad, but you're looking at it and going, it's three players.
Yeah.
If you can't do without three players, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
There are 8 missing right now, but that includes Pope, Gordon, Byrne, and Harrison Ashby, that well-known starter for us. And the first 3 could be back after Man City. So, you know, injuries are there, but realistically, we're not Tottenham, who have 12 players out.
Yeah.
And most of them are first team, as in they're still in the top 6, I believe.
Yeah.
I haven't checked the table before this, so maybe that off, but they're definitely up there or about. So it's all just part of the game. I don't think we can blame it on injuries, and I'm glad you both agree, to be honest. Statement number 2. Newcastle United's mentality has been far too defensive this season. Now, before I ask is, over the last 2 matches, obviously we've seen Newcastle take the lead and then sit back. both times the same story. But has it been the case for the full season? What do you think? Nick, I'll start with you this time.
I don't know if I can agree with that one. In fact, no, I definitely can't agree with that one.
Okay.
There's no way. I mean, I don't know. Look, it's football, and we know, we go ahead and we lose. That's just the way football goes sometimes. But we can't blame it on that because there's been countless times this season, and we're only in flipping November, by the way. Already had 2 international breaks, so
Yeah.
there's no way that Newcastle are struggling going ahead in a game and then are just thinking, yeah, all right then. I don't see that. I do see certain body languages of certain players sometimes change ever so slightly during the game, whether that's because they're fatigued or I've got no idea. But I don't think they've had a defensive mentality because that's just not the way. That's just not the way we play. It's just not Eddie Howe's, identity, is it? So, yeah, no, I don't agree with that one. I don't think.
What about you, Jo? How do you feel?
To feed directly off what she's just said last is the identity. So no, I agree with everything you've just said. By the way, I don't think we've overly had a defensive mentality. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure what sort of mentality we've had because I'm honest, they just look completely disjointed. They look like sometimes they don't even know how to play together. They can't string passes together. We're all over the shop. I don't see it as a defensive-minded problem, let's call it. So yeah, I'm going to have to say no to that one as well because again, I'm going to stick with my much deeper rooted issues going on than simply we go one ahead and sit back. I don't see that game on game, I'll be honest. I see us fall apart most games, not defensive, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think a large part of, is the last 2 games sort of when we've took the lead, we have just sort of relied on the defence and hoped that we'd shut up shop, particularly against Brentford. I mean, we were terrible, weren't we? Like, we just couldn't get beyond that initial press. And just to compare it to last season, one thing that stood out for me is this season we're actually bottom of the league for tackles made, but we're 5th for fouls. So for me, that kind of just tells you it's just lazy in regards to tackling. Last year, we were making the tackles and we were actually succeeding with them. This year, it's Joe Linton running into the back of someone after losing the ball, which happens 12 times a game.
He's a liability, isn't he, really? Let's get real. And he's been a massive liability this season. Yeah,
I said this a couple of episodes ago. I said he was like by far my most disappointing player so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree as well. And I think when I was actually looking at this, I saw that the whole league is pretty much changed in the way teams play. But one of the things as well with that, we're bottom of the league for tackles. We're actually 3rd bottom for yellow cards as well. And that intensity, that identity that you have mentioned means you get tackles in and you pick up those yellow cards. We're on track for 41 this season. No, I avoided it just. We're on track for 41 this season, which is down from 68, and you think, and that's almost a third. If our intensity is dropped by that as well, which, let's be honest, by the eye test, it has, then, 100%. Maybe there's no surprise we're sitting in a relegation battle. But yeah, for me, I actually do think we're a bit more defensive personally, because I don't think it's by choice. So I don't think it is a mentality issue. I think it's just a sheer fact of we just can't get beyond the press of other teams at the minute. Which
I get that. Yeah.
We used to be able to.
I was more thinking the mentality thing that you said, I'll be honest. But I get exactly what you're saying about the defensive thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Statement number 3, we're going to get to after our first advert of the evening, which is Jo and Nic.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Jo and Nic, the world's most personalised supplements. Jo and Nic provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Jo and Nic. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Radio into statement number 3. This one could be a little bit touchy. We've eased our way through the first 9 minutes, now into maybe the hard stuff of Newcastle United's biggest issue is the attitude of the players this season. What do we think? Now, if you want 5-10 seconds to think, I can give you that. Or if you've got something that you immediately agree with,
Jo definitely
just
had.
let me know.
I mean, my points after both of the other two kind of lead quite into the attitude, don't they? I don't see the same attitude at all, and it's across the team. I've had this conversation with multiple people. I had it yet again today. I think anytime anyone brings up how this season's going, and everyone seems to all the time, oh, Jo, what do you think how the season's going? Like, I don't know is half the time. I don't even know what to say, and I'm so like everyone was so frustrated with everything. But the attitude of the players, there's something massively wrong. We don't know what's wrong. Obviously, we don't see behind closed doors. But what I'm very concerned about is that they don't actually know what's wrong. Because Howe doesn't seem to know what's wrong with some of the maybe decisions he's making or anything like that. I'm not, by the way, at all calling for Howe's head like some idiots are, but I get the kind of frustration towards him. But in general, in terms of the actual player's attitude, I think he's been let down by a lot of players as well. So I'm saying collectively there's something very not right. Again, going behind the scenes, whatever you want to call it. But whatever it is, they need to fix it. They need to fix it sharp because we are in a relegation battle no matter what anyone wants to think. We might be in the Champions League. We might be doing all right in the Carabao Cup. But if our attitudes or anything else doesn't change, we're in a relegation battle. It's as simple as that. So yes, I'm absolutely with this point. Yeah.
Okay, Nick, do you agree, or do you have anything to add to that?
I do agree with it, but it seems to be only certain players because I can't speak for the likes of, someone like Sandro Tonali because I feel like his attitude is, pretty much spot on. I mean, I'm just taking a play out of thin air here. Seems to be spot on, pretty much every game. But there definitely is a sort of attitude problem with some players. I think on the last point I said, certain players' body language changes quite a lot throughout a game. Anthony Gordon is 110% one of those. Whether or not it's a lazy problem, but it's definitely some sort of attitude problem that's going on behind closed doors. I think it was after the West Ham game. Did I hear Eddie Howe say that it was the first time in his Newcastle career that he could have taken them all off?
He didn't know who to choose
He didn't know who to choose to take off, which, I mean, as a manager, that must be one, an awful situation to be in, but two, you're probably thinking, what was wrong with them all? Where do I go from here?
Yeah.
So you could call it an attitude problem, I guess, with certain players. I can't speak for all of them, so I don't think they all have it. I think like the likes of Sandro, Bruno, they do show great attitude
Chow's
most
been
games. Chow's been
yeah.
great. Botman's kind of been great. I'm going to get that one back actually. But like we've just spoke, we've just spoke about Joey Linton. His attitude seems like he just wants to take every player out and just get as many yellow cards this season. I don't understand that. I mean, that is not. I mean, we know he's a brute. We know he can be a brick wall, but that isn't how he plays. So I don't know what's happened over the course of this season where he thinks that's okay because it's flipping frustrating to watch. I don't enjoy watching him at the minute. Also, I cannot believe I'm about to admit this on this podcast. However, I'm trying to just ignore the fact where we are sitting in the table and being very in denial at the fact that we're in a relegation battle because I don't want to talk about it. But I think now that that's just been brought to my attention, I'm like, oh yeah, we are actually 2 points off the flipping relegation thing. It's quite concerning, and the attitudes of the players need to be sorted ASAP. But I don't know what you can do. Yeah.
I'm inclined. I definitely agree. From the eye test, it looks like Newcastle aren't really fighting as hard as they used to. And you mentioned Anthony Gordon there. There's been rumours that he's had a little knock all season, which begs the question of why he was playing at all, how he was allowed to go with England, and why it didn't look like he had a knock with England at all. So to be honest, I think a lot of fans are just trying to make excuses on that side, which, I can't blame them. You want to make excuses for why the players aren't living up to expectations. But for the thing that gets me this season in regards to the number of sprints per game, last season we won, I think there was only 7 games where Newcastle didn't make more sprints than their opposition. We've only done it in 3 games so far this season in the league. And so that means we're already worse. We've lost more than what we did last season as a total in 11 games. But with that, in distance covered, we're actually 3rd in the league. We're only behind Manchester City and Arsenal for distance covered, which tells me it's not effort, but it's efficiency, if that makes sense. Because you sit there and going, we're covering positions, but by the time we are getting there to cover, it's just a bit lazy and it's a bit lackluster. And I'm putting that maybe a bit down to playing style, which goes into statement number 4, which is Newcastle United are far too one-dimensional in the Premier League.
Ooh.
What do we think on that? And I can get...
Oh, God.
Are we in
Go on,
agreement?
Joe. Joe is like, yes.
I'm like itching on it. Look, come on, we've mentioned this a million times over in terms of how predictable we were throughout last season. We have been for a long time, so this is nothing new. Is it finally catching up to us? Is it finally coming back to bite us on the backside? I don't know. Is it now the fact that we're still playing this style with a striker who is not an actual out-and-out striker? He likes to come deep. I love what Voldemort does, by the way. I love not only his goal contributions, I love his style of play. I think he's going to be amazing when he has someone to play off, because I think that's what he needs. We need Visser back on so many levels, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Because Voldemort is not the direct replacement for Isak, because Isak was an out-and-out striker, Voldemort is not. So yeah, that's where I think it leads into the problem of us being one-dimensional, because we are still playing the exact same formation. We're not mixing it up enough. We need to start mixing it up, like, immediately. There's not even any more games that we can now, because wasn't West Ham supposed to be the whole catalyst of that'll be our kick up the backside, like the Brentford game was last season? Yeah. West Ham was supposed to be that, yet it hasn't been at all. Because it's gone on. The Brentford game was probably equally as bad as West Ham, or close to it. So there was no kick up the backside. So at what point are we going to get our backsides into gear, so to speak? But is it the formation? Is it the predictableness? Or is it down to the fact that, like we've talked about, we've lost our identity. We're not pressing as hard. There's no intensity at all. So yeah, again, multitude of things wrapped into one there. Sorry.
No, I asked the question. It's the answer I wanted. What about you, Nick? Have you got anything to add?
Yeah, I agree. I was having a conversation with someone at work today, actually, who sits across from me, and he was just asking, what on earth is happening at Newcastle? Like, I own the place. And I'm like, I don't know. And we just started talking about what you've just spoke about, like our style of play and things like that. And just off the back of the West Ham and Brentford game, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be getting beat by these teams, but really we shouldn't be, especially West Ham at the minute, because they are really poor. They are really, really poor. So the fact that we've actually been beaten by them, and let's say comfortably beaten by them, is slightly embarrassing. Because they are not playing great football at the minute. I don't care what anyone says. So yeah, I was having this conversation at work, and I was just saying, I don't know if maybe, and I'm going to say Eddie, but I don't mean him solely. I mean him as a whole collective, his coaching team, and obviously his football players. I don't know if maybe it's a case of, like, have we just been found out? Because we had this exact same thing happen around about, well, maybe just a bit before this time last season, where we went on a stint of losing really pathetic games that we shouldn't have been losing, and I remember us sitting in this position, getting really frustrated. And I'm sure we had an international break, and then all of a sudden we come back from the international break and then went on like a 10-game winning streak. But someone at work actually made a point of saying, like, I don't imagine he is doing this, but do you think he's prioritizing the Champions League and Carabao Cup because the runs in there are so great? And I'm like, but that's not the mentality that anyone should be having in that team. You don't see the Manchester Cities doing this. I wish it was that, but it's definitely not. You don't see the likes of Cities, Liverpools, Arsenal's, whoever, having that mentality, saying, oh, well, we're prioritizing that, so we're going to forget about our league campaign, because that's just, I mean, let's be honest, the owners of Newcastle will not stand for that either. So I do agree with Joe. I think it's a case of we've just lost. We've just been completely found out. I actually think we've lost the plot. Yeah, I think our style of play, we haven't really seen the high intensity. And like you say, we're obviously missing Wisser. So it's just like, there's only so much one striker can do. So yeah.
I'm gonna offend all Newcastle fans here, and I'm gonna say it's not Wisser that we're missing.
Oh God,
it's Alexander Isak.
Oh,
because if you remember Alexander Isak, when he did get the ball and when he did have more than 4 touches in a game, he would come up on the left, he would be in behind, he would come short, he would do loads of different things, and he did alright. He was okay, he was unpredictable, and the team sat off us because of that. This season, we are bottom of the league for through balls and for offsides, which tells you we're not getting in behind. Every time I see Anthony Gordon get the ball, it's pretty much on the halfway line. Every time I see Murphy get the ball, it's pretty much on the halfway line. Voltemade gets more touches closer to the halfway line than he does near the box, which, to be fair, is normal, but not his levels. It's like, you're right, it is just far too predictable. And with us sitting too deep on the front line and not having that unpredictability up front, you'd think you'd get that from Alanga, you'd think you'd get that from Gordon, but we just can't get it when they're in the positions that they are. And Voltemade, I mentioned it the other day, and it's gone on socials. James has put it up, and I've got a bit of stick for it. He isn't really the striker that we needed. Hey, it's fine. I like it. Just, if people could come up with an actual statement, then call it, rather than just calling us an F head or a F tard or whatever it is.
Easy to do that. I wasn't an idiot, so
yeah.
I mean, I'd appreciate a point against us rather than just that, but it's fine. But yeah, Voltemade is going to be one of the. He'd fit in at Man City. He's great, but he's not really. We don't play to his strengths. He doesn't play to ours. With Wissa, as you mentioned, Joe. Hopefully that all changes, and hopefully, we start seeing Newcastle push in the right direction again. But we mentioned there, I'll go into Zencastr, the Zencastr advert, then I'll get you to rank the 4 issues. And I do have one little bonus question of something that Jamie Carragher said the other day.
Oh, God.
Which is never good.
Lord.
Here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Lovely, Zencastr. So, where are we? Right. So we've got the 4 issues there. We had injuries, potentially a defensive mentality, a one-dimensional attack, and an attitude problem of the players. Which of those are the biggest issue for Newcastle United this season? Who would like to go first?
Just the ones that we've discussed, yeah.
Oh,
sorry. Go Nick, check one.
That's okay. I am going to go for the first one, as in top ranked. I would go the one-dimensional play, just because we spoke about how predictable we think we've become to other teams. Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Joe, do you agree, or you got something different?
Yeah, I'd go one-dimensional, very, very closely followed by the attitude issue.
Yeah.
Okay, so Joe's number 2 is the attitude problem. Nick, do you agree?
Yeah, attitude is my second as well.
Okay, so we've got one-dimensional attack and attitude for both of you. Final 2, injuries or a defensive or a mentality when we go 1-0 up, shall we say. Which one of those is the bigger problem?
I think it's the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Let us know your 4, whether it's one-dimensional attack, attitude, injuries, or mentality than injuries, or if you think injuries have been a little bit more of a problem. It's football. We're all here to disagree with each other at the end of the day. But a little bonus question, and we mentioned Eddie Howe just before. And Eddie Howe is quite a sought-after manager, after all. He did end one of the longest streaks without a trophy in history, and Jamie Carragher was quoted. And to be fair, it's actually maybe one of the more sensical Jamie Carragher quotes, because he's not spitting at children when he says this one. Eddie Howe should leave Newcastle United for England after the World Cup. Do you think that is maybe something that would be best for Eddie Howe? Take the Newcastle hats off? Or do you think it's in his best interests to stay?
Jamie Carragher isn't the first pundit, shall I say, that I've heard put their 2 pence in about Eddie Howe. And I can't remember the other 2 that was on Sky Sports yesterday and last night talking about it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They've all said or insinuated that they think that Eddie Howe has taken Newcastle as far as they can, as far as he can, sorry. My question off the back of that, because me and Tara were talking about last night, who else do we go for?
Yeah.
What other manager right now I don't care.
That was the bonus question.
Fair enough.
So no,
You're
I
ruled
don't.
out now, Michael.
Yeah, you're ruled out. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, you hosted that.
No, I'm joking. So my question at the back of that was
Don't
just
mind.
to myself, pretty much, was just, well, what other manager would we have? Who would we go for that's in the
Yeah.
market at the minute? And I honestly couldn't give you a name. I genuinely could not give you a name where I'd be like, yeah, I can see them at Newcastle. So I really like
Yeah.
Jamie Carragher, which I know is a very unpopular opinion, but only because I like the way he analyzes football. I like when he does all the Monday Night Football stuff and analyzes it. I really do. But I don't like the fact when he comes out, Michael's just frozen on the screen. My screen together. I do. And I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. But I don't like the way he's come out and said that about Eddie Howe. I didn't like that statement. So no, I don't agree with it. There you go.
Okay.
You see, Michael, the problem we've got here is she's married to a Scouser and she's been kind of blinded.
No, you guys aren't listening. No,
Yes,
messing
I
with
didn't
you.
say no. I didn't say I liked him and Liverpool. I said I like the way he can analyse football sometimes. I don't like what he said about Eddie
You're a
Howe.
bit
I
too
We'll be
can't say
talking about
anything on this
Scouse accent
podcast.
soon.
Honestly.
Too easily. Come on, girl. Yeah. What was the question
Before
again?
Nicola develops a Scouse
I was gonna
accent,
say.
Joe, do you
thoughts on
agree
Howe,
that
yeah.
it might be best for Eddie Howe as a person, not for Newcastle, for Eddie Howe if he leaves Newcastle for England? No.
No. And I'm not being Newcastle biased. I'm not. I'm going to take this as. Hang on, I can't hear you. I can't hear you again. Sorry. So yeah, sorry. I'm not taking this as Newcastle bias because I don't think it's right for him because I think he needs and wants club football for a lot longer than just now.
Yeah.
And that could be with anyone, by the way. I'm not saying he needs to leave us to go anywhere else before anyone starts coming down my neck here. What I mean is I just think he loves that daily grind. And I just think the England job and the non-daily grind as a result of it, it's just not suited to him for him right now. It's got nothing to do with us at this point.
Yeah.
It's really for him. So obviously
point.
we don't want him to go, but even for him, I don't think it's the right move. No, far too early. I think
Why?
eventually
Yeah.
it'll be brilliant for him, but not
Yeah.
now.
Why is it that pundits are just automatically shipping him off to the England job? I'm sure he said he doesn't even want it.
They're obsessed with it being linked.
Like maybe
They're
about
just
a year
obsessed with
ago,
it.
but they're obsessed with anytime
Yeah.
things are a little bit rocky at Newcastle.
Mhm.
Maybe it is like this at other teams as well. I don't know, but anytime anything's a little bit rocky in the Newcastle camp, they're like, "Oh, you should go England."
Yeah.
Why does he automatically get shipped with that role? He's not ever come out and said he wants to
Yeah.
manage England anyway. So yeah, I don't
It's
agree
true.
with it.
True.
But
I
In a
think
way, I'm
it's-
glad that they're not
it's
linked him to
one of
loads of other clubs at the same time. I don't
Yeah.
want them to start talking about him going to here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, it's such an obvious thing to talk about the England job, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
think
just
after the whole Robson ideal, we kind of got a bit of a reputation, and people forget Robson went like 11 games with just one win, and people
Yeah.
look at it and went, "Oh, it was the 30th of August or whatever it was when you sacked him. He didn't have the time." When realistically, things were crumbling a lot beforehand, and it is horrible the way some things ended with Robson. I mean, I was 7;
Yeah.
I didn't contribute to it, but it's one of those where I think when a pundit looks at it, they go, maybe it's best for both sides to part before things turn toxic.
Yeah.
And the fact of there's only one half decent English manager out there right now, I think, and that's Eddie Howe. So let's be honest,
I
when
don't-
Tuchel got the job, everyone's
Yeah.
like, a German managing England?
I know.
Nine?
Yeah. I don't disagree
So-
that he is the best. I don't disagree that he is the best English manager. I just hate the fact that he automatically gets shipped
Yeah.
off to that role. But then
No,
you can
I
ask.
agree.
Then again, at what point? I guess the next question is: at what point does it get to a point where he has to leave Newcastle? Does he wait till he gets
Yeah.
sacked? I'm not saying he's going to get sacked because hopefully he's not. But we've
There's
seen much more
good
ruthless
chance he
decisions
does.
in the Premier League, I suppose.
Yeah, 100%.
At what point do they cut ties with him? But then my concern is, who do we then get? Because I mean, the pool of managers at the minute isn't great, is it? Let's be honest. Who have we got the choice
That's
of?
diabolical.
I don't want
Yeah.
anyone that's available, put it that way. So
Me
it's
either.
not even a conversation in my eyes. So yeah.
Yeah.
Me either.
I think you've got to be looking at some of the managers in the Premier League at the minute of like maybe Iraola and Glasner, and you've got to be trying to tap them up if you even think about it. And even then, I don't think the whole fan base is going to be happy.
No.
But yeah, it's one of those. I do agree. I don't think Howe should leave, but I'm starting to think the way when I see our fan base sometimes, I do think maybe you just want to get rid of it if he possibly could. But yeah, I hope he stays because I love him as a manager. But it's clear that the Saudis have probably put him under a little bit of pressure at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
But that's all from us today. Thank you, Jo and Nic, for joining me. Thanks for you for listening in. We've got some fun international break content coming through the week, including Saturday's episode where I'm going to be asking Kevin Ian whether FIFA have effed up once again. But for now, and for Newcastle, it's Auf Wiedersehen, pet.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.